What's going on, folks? Fight Day live chat, UFC Vegas 40. And stumbling out the gate, it looks like my connection is pretty shitty. So hopefully that picks up as the stream goes on. Shout out to my guy Rex Lee already in the chat asking for a t shirt, which I actually have of yours. I don't know if you're in here, Rex. I gotta swing by your place one of these days to actually drop the shirt off to you. Funny enough, I have it right here. I'll drop that to you as soon as I can. It's just collecting dust in my studio for now. Shout out to our buddy over there in Vegas, Steven, I think his name was Stefan. But yeah, very good host. The one day that I spent with him, helped your boy out, grab some in and out, took me to my COVID appointment. Yeah. So we got a 10 fight card coming up tonight. Somewhat tonight, this evening, if you want to say that. It is early start time, 4:30 p.m. Eastern. 10 fight card, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 fights lined up. Let's see if there's been any crazy line movement over the last 24 hours. Um, since opening, seems like the most of the line movement has been coming on Brandon Davis and Ludovic Klein. Let's see over the last 24 hours. Yeah, ton of money coming in on Estela Nunez, who was roughly around plus 160. Now she's down to around plus 120. Should be a fun fight. That's a fight that I don't really want to be invested in. I think I just have Ariane Carnelosi in what I like to call my Gabby Garcia parlay. Shout out to the Patreon members. Uh, yeah, that's the only action I have on that fight. Even with Arlovsky and Philippe, I think I only put the over 2.5 into that parlay. So, yeah, there's a couple fights on this card that I want nothing to do with. Carnelosi, Nunez, Arlovsky, Philippe, and Bueno Silva, even Lad Dumont. I feel like I have pretty strong stances on pretty much every other fight. Davis is my dog of the night play. I got him around plus 139, I believe it was. So the interesting thing about the plays that I made here, or my official plays. So they're actually separate bets. So what I mean by that is when I originally made my lock and then I play, it was Sajar Eubanks and Ludovic Klein. But then obviously we know that Sajar Eubanks pulled out. And I was lucky enough to hop onto my bookie real quick enough to cash out. I took a $2 loss just to be able to cash out. And then I thought I was going to be able to get the same line on Ludovic Klein, which was minus 303, which was what it was lined at. And these sneaky bastards over there at Coolbet. So I put my 5 units on it, my $1,000 on it, and they only accepted $100 of it. So I have Ludovic one parlay. I have $100 on Ludovic Klein and Ramazan Ameev minus 303 and minus 286 to give me minus 126. And then they jacked up the price on Ludovic Klein as right after I made that play. So then I actually went over to my other bookie, Intertops, and I put together the parlay again for the rest of my units. So I have $100 on it on Coolbet, and then I have $700, sorry, $900 on it through Intertops. And I'm just pulling it up right now to get the actual line that I have there. So what I put was like the average line is the line that I've been kind of putting out to my guys. Minus 137. So I got minus 126 at $100 and then minus 137 at $900. And I'm trying to recall what my average odds are there. I figured it out. Minus 136 is what the average odds are. And then even with Brandon Davis as well, they kind of sneaked me over there at Coolbet. Again, I believe it's because it was somewhat of an early line. I got in on these lines a lot earlier than I normally do with Colbet. Normally, they take the full amount after I bet it. Um, so that's kind of what I'm attributing it to. But I got $160 on Brandon Davis at plus 155, and then $140 on him at plus 143. And the average line there is plus 149. Does that sound right? Yeah, that is correct. So there you guys have it. Those are my lock of the night and dog of the night plays. Once again, lock of the night plays that Ramazan Ameev and Ludovic Klein parlayed, and then dog of the night play is Brandon Davis. Now, I've been seeing a lot of uh this Ramazan Ameev detracting, and I'm seeing a lot of people on Danny Roberts as well. And I get it. I get the whole, you know, the line is out of whack. Ramazan Ameev always fights close to the level of his competition. And I even kind of stated that in my breakdowns of the Ramazan Ameev fight. But Danny Roberts is not what people are making him out to be, to go out there and stuff takedowns on a consistent basis against a, very skilled fighter in Ramazan Ameev. Yeah, he might be a little bit low output at times, but I feel like the last two fights alone, we've seen what his approach has been, which is get those takedowns. And I truly believe if he is taking down guys like Zavado, who has way better jiu-jitsu than what Danny Roberts brings to the table, and even Nicholas Tulsa, who, he was having some success in the striking, and then that's when Ramazan had to go to the wrestling. I'm expecting him to go to the wrestling nice and early here against Danny Roberts. And I wouldn't be surprised if you put him away, whether it's submission or whatever it might be. I mean, you got to question the level of training that Danny Roberts is getting over there in Europe. And again, Ameev is one of those guys who might not blow you out of the water, but I feel like he's skilled enough to always go out there and beat his guys. Then I see the argument of who has Ramazan Ameev beat. He's beaten everybody been put up against inside the UFC except Anthony Rocco Martin, who I would take any day over Danny Roberts. If you guys remember Anthony Rocco Martin, that was like the streak that he was on. There was a fight he had against Damian Maia. I think I had scored it from him. I can't recall it, but Rocco Martin, when he was on, he was fucking on, and he had the perfect game plan. He had the perfect takedown defense, and then he was chewing up that lead leg of Ramazan Ameev. Am I expecting the only thing that I expect Danny Roberts to do, similar to what Rocco Martin did, is possibly do the leg kick, but the leg kick will help in terms of the takedowns here, right? I'm seeing some more hatred in terms of, or not hatred, but like detractors in terms of Ramazan Ameev is only like 29% takedown accuracy. You went 0 of 9 against you went 0 of 9 against Anthony Rocco Martin. I mean, the majority of that is from that fight. Um, Whereas you have a guy with 23% takedown accuracy in what's his name? Claudio Silva, that got down Danny Roberts 3 times. Not to mention, Danny Roberts' cardio doesn't look the greatest either. So that's another bit of a question mark. I think he's going to be working a lot in this fight to get those takedowns. So when you guys are coming to somebody like myself named Lock of the Night, I'm sure there are certain points where I want to like chase value in like what I feel like I'm getting in Brandon Davis. But then there's other parts where it's like, you guys are coming to me for winners. You guys want a winner. And I feel as though the two best spots on this entire card to get you decent odds that I believe will win would have been Sajar Eubanks and Ludovic Klein. But with Sajar Eubanks now out, I had to go with Ludovic Klein and Ramazan Ameev. I could have stuck with the minus 303 straight on Ludovic Klein and not cashed out, but I felt just as good about Ramazan Ameev the longer the week went on. Because I'm looking at the rest of the lines here, like I'm not trusting Jim Miller. You know, he should beat Eric Gonzalez, but I feel like his limited window of winning, which is usually like a round and a half, not good enough for me. Manol Fiorot, too many question marks about her still. Ludovic Klein, I don't know where these people are making up these things. Like Klein is, he's a gasser, and you see him tremendously fall short as long when fights go longer. But like it's really just the Trezano fight, who is a much more disciplined fighter than what Nate Landwehr brings to the table. Like I don't know what people are thinking, where Nate Landwehr is going to start cutting off the cage and start doing the correct things that Trezano was doing to have success against Klein. He's going to keep running into punches. He's going to keep running into strikes, and he's going to eventually knock his ass out. That's what I truly believe. Like, let's look at other spots. Lupito Godinez, again, that fight got put together short notice. The closer the fight is getting as well, it is giving me some hesitation in regards to the size difference. I didn't think it would be that big of a difference in terms of her when she actually steps inside the cage. And I think that still might not be the case. But again, I feel much more comfortable with a safe fighter like Ramazan Ameev and then Ludovic Klein, who more than likely will go out there and knock out Nate Landwehr. I don't think Nate can take any more shots. And even if this goes to a decision, I feel comfortable enough that Klein will land the bigger and better shots, drop Nate on several occasions, and end up getting the judge's decision. So that's my take. I think a lot of like the analysis and the breakdowns that I've been hearing and seeing from certain people, again, it's rooted in finding the value of these dogs that that I've picked against. And again, all credit. That's what a lot of this game is finding value. But when you're tailing a guy like me, you got to know that like I'm trying to pick winners as best as I can, keeping odds in mind to a certain extent. But at the end of the day, skill level, who I legitimately think is going to win, and for me tonight, it's those two spots. Now next week, October 23rd, uh, on first look, it doesn't look like I have much or a big enough lean yet. Like the only fight that I've been able to really dig into is Vittori versus Costa, and I feel pretty damn good about Vittori to be honest. But I'm not sure if I feel lock of the night confident about him. Right? Guys that kind of stick out to me, obviously, fading Ike Villanueva is never a bad thing. But then you have Nego Mariano. I gotta refresh my memory about how he performed in the Alexa Kamor fight before I make any conclusions there. Grant Dawson should go in there and do work against Rick Glenn, but Rick Glenn's a very tough out. Sungwoo Choi probably dusts Alex Caceres as well. Um, Tabitha Ricci, I'm very interested in her because I know she's very skilled. She seems to be a pretty heavy favorite here over Maria de Oliveira Netta. I know nothing about that chick, as I'm sure a lot of people don't know. um, yeah, those are the only ones that really stick out to me. Obviously, Mason Jones is not fighting Alan Patrick anymore, and Jay Herbert should go out there and style against Kama Worthy. But man, the guy's a little bit chinny, and I'm not a big. And the best thing I'll say about Kama Worthy is that he has knockout power. That's really about it. All right, let's get into the chat here. I feel like I ranted on long enough to finally get into the chat. Once again, Rexley in the chat. Dog MMA, what's going on, buddy? Nathan, let me try this. Let me try not to butcher it. Petra Zek. Appreciate you stopping by. Wakis Schwab saying, looking for a 20 final word of wisdom from Manpreet. Let's dust these bookies. 3K on Ameev and Klein. I like it. Let's fucking go. If you roll from minus 200 to minus 300 in the last 12 hours, yeah, there's a lot of people that are big on her, man. Again, I understand it, but I don't want to bet her yet. Rexley saying, let's eat the chalk this weekend. It will be delicious. Yes, the famous words from Mr. Tajik Bey from last night. DXJC saying, got to mix and match a few relatively safe spots on UFC with some of that Bellator chalk. Yeah, I do have a couple multi-event parlays that I did. Hopefully we end up on the winning side of those as well. Nathan saying, damn, Betway got Davis at plus 250. That is a crazy line. I would take full advantage of that. Unless you're saying plus 150, and that's just decimal odds there. Tiffany Shriver, Tajik Bey, you were great last night. Thank you for your knowledge and entertainment. Yes, Tajik Bey is the man. My guy Andrew Marchenko in the chat saying, today's DK slate is an absolute disaster. Impossible to be unique. There are only 3 playable dogs, Dumont, Davis, and Sanchez. The rest are not even worth considering. Well, depending on who you talk to, apparently Danny Roberts and Nate Landwehr have some solid pull as well. Shout out to my guy MMA Triple J in the chat. Appreciate you stopping by, my brother. Before on the beat saying, bro, how did you get Jorge Masvidal on the show last night? He was virtually identical. Shout out to Tajik. I honestly did not see the Masvidal comparisons until somebody actually brought it up. So Isaiah saying, can't lie, Tajik made me doubt my Klein pick a little bit. He made some good points about Landwehr, right? And I'll admit it, like if this fight does go to a decision, That's the best way for Landwehr to win this fight because optically speaking, he'll be the one moving forward. However, I do think even with moving forward, he's going to be eating some big shots, and I think that Klein will either rock him, visibly hurt him, or do enough at least to at least sway the judges in his favor. Nathan is saying Klein by KO, Klein under 2.5. I got, yeah, I like it. Hopefully he finds the head kick. Yeah, that'll be great. Isaac Martinez saying, "What up, Davis? Is going to be my first bet to kick off the day." Yeah, I believe he's the second fight of the night, right? So that'll be good. Isaiah saying Landwehr is just such a dog. If he didn't get KO, things could get dicey. True, but it's crazy how much he's really reacting to a lot of these shots, right? Especially since coming over from Russia. It does make you think. And I saw somebody in the chat last night. So one of the reasonings I gave as to why I think Nate Landwehr is not eating any of these shots as much as he used to in his M1 days is because he's juicing. And apparently somebody in the or he was juicing, sorry. But somebody in the chat section was saying it seems like all the cappers are saying that. I'm gonna be completely honest. I didn't hear then again, like, yeah, no, I didn't hear anybody say that. I felt like I was one of the first and only people to say that. If other people have said that, I didn't hear it. Honestly, I did not hear it. And I literally just thought of that like the other day. So just saying. MMA Triple J Roberts is fragile. His look when he takes shots is always a concerning face. Yes, exactly. What happened to Rocco Martin? I think he got cut. I think he fought out his contract and then he got cut. I'm not 100% sure. I heard someone say that Roberts has never lost a decision. He's always been finished in an L. Could we possibly see his first ever finish in the UFC? This spot reminds me of Fiziev when Fiziev got his first. Excuse me. Um, the way that I see me finishing him would be on the ground. It would be with the submission. But I feel like it would have to come with a lot of grappling from Ameev early, try to wear out Danny Roberts, and then eventually lock up something later. If you guys remember the Claudio Silva fight 2 fights ago, it was literally exhaustion that continuously got Danny Roberts into submissions, and Claudio Silva was gassed himself. I think Ameev has much better cardio, and if he's able to gas out Roberts, he could possibly lock up a submission himself. Doughboy Nasty, did you realize how big Danny Roberts was compared to Ameev yesterday? That was interesting. I don't think it's going to have much bearing on this fight, to be honest. Everyone expected Fiziev to win a decision in that spot. I can't remember who it was against, though. Who did he finish? I can't recall off the top of my head, brother. Klein's good. Where are you guys at? I'm pretty behind on the chat here, so I'm doing my best to catch up. Klein's good, man. He's patient and he's a finisher. I agree. Robot Chicken Wing saying early with it. Yes, I am early today. More than likely, I won't be watching the fights live. I have some of my old college roommates coming over. I'm actually going to be going to pick one of them up. So it takes a little bit of time. He's a little bit of a drive away. So going to go pick him up after I finish up the stream. And yeah, had to do it early. You know, I don't want to skip out on you guys. Ryan Sweet saying size is an issue for Godinez versus Carolina. Big difference at the face-off. It could be, but my thing is, I just don't think that Luana is that skilled, to be honest, right? It's going to be if Godinez can successfully drag this fight to the ground, which I think she should be able to. That's where that size difference won't really matter. Maybe Carolina will be able to work back to her feet a little bit easier, not having to deal with a big fighter, but man, Carolina's not good. I think the only way she wins this fight is if it stays that distance. If she can get her striking off from the outside, but Godinez, even at her regular weight class, normally is at a size disadvantage, and she always has to crash forward and close the distance to get her strikes off, or even to get her offense off. And she's been successful in doing so, other than that Jessica Penne fight. So we'll see. Robot Chicken Wings, Luana got a crazy reach advantage. This could be an upset brewing, possibly. I'm not super invested in Godinez, but she should win in this fight. George Menexopoulos, if Nate tries to fight like Trezano, he's going to take a nap. That's the thing. I don't think he has the capability of fighting like Trezano. Like, I don't think he's as disciplined in the striking room. Like, you got to know that Trezano came into that fight with a legitimate game plan to corral Ludovic into situations to allow him to be more successful with the striking. Does Nate have that? Nate chases his opponents. He doesn't cut off the cage. He chases his opponents. Nathan saying, should I put $5 on Alaska versus Philippe fight draw? Yeah, I saw that. I saw that that bet that Z and DFS are making. And I don't really understand it. Like, they're pretty much praying for a point deduction because who's going to have a good enough round to go out there and finish one of these guys, or sorry, get a 10-8. Like neither guy is going to get a 10-8. At least I don't think any of them will. So now they're kind of just banking on a point deduction. Who's going to get the point deduction? I don't get it. I don't get it. Ryan Street left my ass off. Philippe's split madness and Arlovsky going the distance. Again, whether you're going to a split decision or a unanimous decision, that's what all these guys are going to. Where's the point deduction going to come from? That's what you need. Or you need a 10-8. Who's going to 10-8 somebody here? I don't get it. I think Costa will run through Vittori, honestly. Vittori, very durable, has a good chin, better cardio. I think Costa has a round and a half to win this fight. Robot Chicken Wing saying, I'm not sure about Costa's mindset. Pete G in the chat. Appreciate you stopping by. Nathan Locke, what do you think about Riddell versus Fiziev? Fight goes to decision. It's far away, but curious what you think. Yeah, that's kind of the lean that I have right now. Is it goes to a decision. Ricci, yes, we'll be seeing that next week. Isaiah saying, let's not forget who Costa was before that Izzy fight. True, but again, all of his wins were coming within 7 minutes, right? His only decision that he won was against Yoel Romero, which was very controversial, and we saw him slow down a lot before that. Again, Vittori never been knocked out. Very good chin by all standards. They're both meatheads. But I trust a meathead who's gone to a 5-round decision in his last 3 fights and has looked decent, in later rounds. Whereas Costa, I think he's going to be huffing and puffing by the time the 3rd round comes around. George Medixopoulos will say is saying Sungwoo Choi will destroy Bruce Lee. Yeah, I believe that as well. Choi is a big bet for me too. Yeah. Ethan Cruz, have you ever tried round robins, trying to get into it with small dogs plus money props? And I think it can be extremely profitable. Went with Miller sub, Davis money line, Arlovsky decision, Ameev decision, and Klein KO. I've never really messed around with round robins, but I do know some people that have found it to be pretty profitable. So it might be something that I eventually look into. PG has joined every parlay. Ryan Sweet saying Ricci low key. I like that. Buffo on the beat. I like Arlovsky by decision. I agree. Sneaky low owned on DK versus a very hittable thick Diaz. Could put up 100 plus significant strikes like he did against Chase Sherman. Possibly. George, Pete, I like all your bets. I've seen yesterday. Robot Chicken Wings. What if Worthy takes a grappling approach because Herbert can't wrestle? Yes. See, that is another concern that I have there as well. George is saying Choi is a parlay piece. I agree. Isaiah Roser, Costa has shown consistent ability to throw diverse, powerful shots while maintaining defense, cardio, and pressure pretty much his whole UFC career. Again, cardio, very sketchy, man. I don't know how you can say that with confidence, considering he's only been to 1 decision in his life, in his career. And even in that, he looked like he was slowing down. I will say this: he's the better striker between the two. Throws more, like you said, more diverse, powerful shots, good striking, good combinations. But cardio, I think that's in the advantage of Mr. Mr. Vittori. Ryan Sweet seeing Landwehr 3-0 as an underdog is an interesting stat. Oh yeah, 3-0 as an underdog is an interesting stat. Yeah, that was a couple of them from M1. I believe he was an underdog against Elkins. I don't recall, but a lot of that was from his M1 days. DXJC saying Tajik Bey called Santos by decision against Walker. Yeah, that one kind of surprised me as well. George Tajik's take on the Klein fight was off. He said he expects Nate to go fight from distance. No way he wins that fight if he stays at range. Agreed. When he dropped that, I'm like, nah, man. Like you guys are expecting him to do something that he doesn't do. He might have the skill to do so, but if you don't see him actually doing it, it's an issue. My nose is really messing with me right now. I apologize, guys. I have like something going on here. Let me see if I can corral the wife once again to help me out with some Kleenex, because I apparently didn't learn my lesson and don't have any Kleenexes available to me in my studio. Give me one sec, fellas. All right. DXJC, that alone makes me consider a stab on Nate the Train by decision. I think if you are betting Nate the Train, that's the best way to do it. I'd be surprised if he finishes Klein. Decision would be his best way to go. DXJC confirming that Rocco Martin did get cut. George Medixopoulos, Nate's best chances to force clinch action and dirty boxing to avoid clean shots from Klein and negate the leg kicks. Could not break that down better than myself, my brother. YBB officially finished Moicano. Yes, that's what it was. Thank you, brother. Appreciate that. Robot Chicken Wings. Hope you have a good time. Thank you, buddy. Moy's in the chat. Luana is skilled, however, she's slow and awkward. Yes. Ugh, again, skilled to a certain extent. Decent enough striking. Andrew Marchenko Roberts won't be able to create any separation. I have zero exposure to him. Ameev will win, but score poorly. Do you think that Sanchez will be able to do the same thing to Silva or actually score some? I think he'll get takedowns. I think he'll get control time. Should get some significant strikes off. I think Sanchez is a sneaky play on DraftKings, to be honest. Nandala Razaya saying over or under 5 finishes. Interesting question. Let's see. I'm going to say under 5 finishes. Just quickly looking at the thing. Like my prediction is Davis by submission. I'm not 100% sure that hits. That's one. Klein 2, Jim Miller 3. Yeah, I think only about 3 fights finished. So I'm going to say under 5 finishes. Shout out to Tristan Sherhouse in the chat. Appreciate you stopping by, brother. Ursula Mwambeki, hey, Lock, you think Roberts sprawl and brawl for the victory? Maybe emulate Rocco Martin's performance, or is it too risky to bet on big dog money, though? I'm pretty big on Ameev, and I'd be surprised if Roberts can effectively implement a sprawl and brawl type of victory. Yeah, he can brawl. Can he sprawl? That's the real question. 53% takedown defense, got taken down by, Claudio Silva, who I don't think has the greatest, entries for takedowns or anything like that. I don't think he hides his takedowns much that well. And Ameev will be the much better wrestler. So, yeah, I don't know. I'm not big on that spot. Oh, well, I am big on Ameev. I'm not big on thinking that Roberts can pull it off. Robot Chicken Wing saying Moyes and the real baller in the house. Yeah, Moyes is a G. Ryan Sweet, great point on the deduction. JK13, Lachlan, why you not show us your bets on Twitter? I did actually forget to post them. I apologize. I did say it right at the top of the show, though. I have my Lachlan I play as Ameev plus Klein as my Lachlan I play, and then I have Brandon Davis as my dog of the night play. Also, you guys know me. I normally don't post my plays to Twitter unless I'm on a if I'm on a 3-event winning streak, I only have it to the public. And I just realized I hit Contender Series the other week, hit the last UFC, and hit this most recent Contender Series. So technically, I'm on a 3-event winning streak. So I'll more than likely just keep it behind the Patreon page this week. But since you guys are chilling with me on the Fight Day live chat, I let you guys know what it is as well. PG, Nate wants a scrap. I know that clients seem to be pushed around a little bit last time out. I agree. Nate isn't a good at cutting people off as Trezano, but Klein is not dependable at those odds, in my opinion. Again, people are expecting Nate to fight like Trezano. That's all I gotta say. Like everybody was so high on Ludovic Klein going into that Trezano fight, and he gets picked apart, in a very close fight. Again, a lot of people expected that to go Klein's way, even once the decision was read. And again, by a much more disciplined striker. And all of a sudden, we're just dropping Ludovic Klein. Again, odds may be wide, but is what it is. Jazz sure go in the trap. Appreciate you stopping by. And Moyes Audio, I have draw bets, not Arlovsky, though. I know Moyes likes taking those shots at those like fights to end within the first 60 seconds and draw bets. So I trust what Moyes would be going with here. Point deduction on DK is plus 3,500. Would rather go that route if someone is interested in betting a tie. I don't mind that. I don't mind that. Moyes Audio, Dog MMA. Hopefully someone reminds Costa to stay off the wine the night before. Exactly. Josh Rigo saying Klein round 1, like it. Miller round 1, like it. Godinez, like it. Bueno Silva, fight doesn't go to decision. I think that does, but again, Firo is an absolute monster as well. Lad Dumont fight doesn't go to decision. I think that goes to decision. Brandon Davis, 50 to make 12K. Good luck. Hunter Silva's Nathan Train most likely round three. I'd say Nathan Train by decision would be his best path to victory, in my opinion. Before on the beat, any Bellator plus UFC parlays tonight seems like a good spot to add some extra fighters to get some plus money. I do have. I'll share the one that I did with you. Well, I have three that I made. I'll share one with you guys here. Um, I think it's kind of safe. The odds on it are only plus 290, and it's a six-leg parlay. So you got Ramazan Ameev, Ludovic Klein, Vadim Nemkov, uh, Lance Gibson Jr., Sullivan Colley, and Lupita Godinez. That's one of the Bellator UFC parlays that I went with tonight. Small World Filter saying more Al, please. Al. I'm not following there. I apologize. Zach Johnson saying no lock play. Yeah, I already did it with Ramazan Ameev and Ludwig Klein minus 136 on that parlay. We're gonna get you a handkerchief for Christmas. Yes, that would be great. That would obviously be great. Vittori definitely has better cardio, but I don't think he'll be able to survive long enough for it to matter. Again, Vittori, notoriously durable. So yeah, I like Vittori there. PG, I got Ameev at better odds last week. Wouldn't touch at current price myself. Kayla told Ali to cut Rocco. MMA Prognoza. If I'm not mistaken, Kayla and Rocco were dating, right? Cody E. Cold saying he went 5 rounds with Izzy twice. Incorrect. He went 3 rounds with Izzy the first time, if I'm not mistaken, and then 5 rounds with him the last time. Haven't been finished much. I don't know who you guys think Costa is. He's a one-dimensional brawler with no fight IQ. Yes. I will say this: he has power, but I feel like Vittori will be able to deal with it. Well, first one was 3, but still, yes, exactly. There you go. Nadal is saying thanks, maybe more impactful for DK. Yes. Ameev at minus 200 is a steal. Again, it's always interesting to get him around those odds. DXJC saying thoughts on Nemkov and Glikis. If you've looked into it, that size advantage for Glikis at plus 400 got me thinking hard about it. Nemkov is just another level at this point in time, man. I know Glikis has a 10-1 record, but he hasn't fought anybody to this level. And to go from Gregory Millard or whoever the fuck he was fighting last time to Vadim Nemkov, big difference. I'd be surprised if Glikis pulls it off, to be honest. Dalton saying is Toronto popular with betting MMA betting. I see many different MMA bettors from Toronto. Remember back in the day before right when the UFC came to Toronto for the first time with that George St. Pierre and Jake Shields card, Dana was quoted in saying Toronto was the mecca of MMA. So yeah, we have a ton of MMA fans out here. But yeah, there are a handful of MMA bettors out here too. I know myself. Cody is from the area as well. He lives about 20 minutes away from me. Z's MMA is about like an hour north of us. So yeah, there's a ton of us here. That's when I did when I did my Combative Tour show, if you guys remember that, where I had people come into my studio and actually do face-to-face interviews. Like we just got shit-faced or blazed and got fucked up and just talked MMA for like 2 hours. I was able to line up guests for every fucking week because I had access to so many people within the MMA industry because they all live up here. So yeah, I don't know what it is. Maybe it's something in the air up here. Pete G saying Dumont decision plus 350 on Petty Power. I don't mind that. I'd want a better line, to be honest. Jared Garrett, social anxiety saying good morning. Appreciate you stopping by, my brother. Hunter Silvers, the Firo lad, both by KO parlay. I know I'm crazy. Take my money anyways. Good luck. Moy's audio saying recency bias is a curse. Absolutely agree. Absolutely agree. Moise, I am curious to hear your thoughts on my two plays there with Klein and Ameev. You are somebody who I trust. Peachy, I would bet Ludovic Klein at minus 200 lock, just not what it's at. Yeah, I get it. Again, I completely understand that. Funny Vids is saying my first parlay, Nunez, Davis, and Klein. Again, I got nothing on Nunes. I want to stay away from that fight. I want to see what she looks like first before we pull the trigger on her. Robot Chicken Wings. He's talking about Alfred. I'm assuming. Oh yeah, duh. Shout out to the guy that asked for Alfred. Again, I not even in my right mind at this point in time. He is chilling with the wife. So, Adobe Nasty, how much money do you usually play in DraftKings? I don't play that often, man. Like last week, I only put in 2 lineups. I need to put a little bit more of an emphasis on it. But since I stopped doing the show for Salvetri that I did nearly at the beginning of the year, um, I just haven't had much interest in it. Most of my focus is normally betting. Even prize picks. Prize picks is something I picked up on doing over the last little while too, and I kind of enjoy that a little bit more than DraftKings. Nathan is asking Carnelosi or Nunes fight winner. Again, reluctantly picking Carnelosi, but I am staying the fuck away from that fight. DXJC, what we looking at for the over under parlay? Any Bellator tours you feel confident enough to add in? I will probably add in some Bellator parlays or legs to that as well. I'll give you guys that in about 10 minutes. Let's say 11:45. Let's just take a couple more questions here, and then I'm gonna drop that parlay. Or if I catch up to the live chat. Oh, looky. Coolbet does not have over unders either. Um, so my official totals parlay won't have Bellator legs in it. But I will recommend some after based on what best fight odds shows me. Cashback saying 5K on Bruno Silva by KO. Lock it up. Ooh, good luck, brother. I'm on the Andrew Sanchez side there. No big money on it yet, but I do like that. Moy's audio saying, well, I did post a video from July 26th of Klein drilling the fly knee. I like it. And then what are your thoughts on Ameev and Roberts? You think people are getting a little too crazy with the Roberts side, or you think it's justified? Josh Sergio Roberts versus Ameev over 1.5. Like it. Sanchez Silva under 2.5. Not a big fan of that. I think Sanchez wins by decision. Klein Nate under 1.5. Like it. Miller Gonzalez under 1.5. Like it. Arlovsky Philippe over 2.5. I like it. Plus 21-13. Good luck. Nandalal. Sorry. I played 10 to 15 lineups and it scratches the itch while keeping me out of trouble. For me, a lot of it has been the patience in terms of creating 10 to 15 lineups. Like I need to have more patience when I'm constructing those things. Like the most lineups I think I've ever inputted is about like 10 lineups. And even that was such a pain in the ass. And then you have fight cancellations and all that type of shit. This COVID era for DraftKings players has been absolutely nightmarish. I can only imagine. All right, let's get into the totals probably. It seems like I've actually caught up with the live chat, which is surprising to me. Let's just take this one last question here. DXJC Bruno round 3 KO. Even if Sanchez is going to wrestle, isn't he also liable to gas out like he's shown to in the past? Correct. That is the best way that I would play Bruno. Round 3 KO or even round 3. Adam Max saying lost on all UFC big cards. Need these lesser cards for my predictions to be spot on. How you feeling on this card? I feel okay about it. I don't feel crazy good about it, but I feel like the spots I've actually pulled triggers on should be money making opportunities. Ryan Maston saying, "What's your 2 Bellator picks tonight, main and co-main?" Let's see, main and co-main. I'm leaning Bader weirdly enough. And then obviously Nemkov there. Didn't look into the Bader Anderson fight as closely as I should, but kind of surprised at how wide that line is. But other parlay pieces, you know what? I will say this: I didn't look into the fight either, but Bobby Lee and Nick Brown. I feel like Bobby Lee could be a live underdog. If you guys remember his last fight against Soren Bach, very competitive fight, very close fight. He was a big underdog in that fight too, but that was a damn close fight. I don't know much about Nick Brown and if he's better than what Soren Bach brings to the table, but Bobby Lee could be a live dog as well. Philip is saying, yeah, I just make 3 lines, 1 cash, 1 higher GPP, and 1 lower GPP money. DK is tough on the smaller cards too, with not many ways to go to get different unless leaving lots of money on the table. Exactly. I know you've had to Nandalal. I know you've had to pronounce some horrendous Tamil names in the GTA. There's been some. Nitesh was one, not too hard, but like, yeah, there's been some interesting ones. Shout out to my guy Nandalal. Jazz saying, truthfully, too much narrative going into Aspinall due to her weight cut miss. I think one takedown, she's going to finish her. Plus, Dumont does not have the best cardio. Doubt this goes 5 rounds. Yeah, it's to me, it's what kind of damage can Dumont get off if she does stuff the first couple takedowns and then gets her striking going. I'm staying away. BRB, Lad, Philippe, and Dana parlay them flip flop some underdogs with those three as the base picks. Funny enough, I'm picking against all of those, so we'll see how that goes. Isaiah Roser, Vittori Durbo against who? Hermanson. Paulo's out here dropping you all Romero. And pre-Izzy fight had the highest significant strike landed rate per minute in UFC history, 8.5 and absorbing 6, but he has no IQ. I think the regarding that last statistic there, I think he just intimidates his opponents. Like he's go back and watch the Johnny Hendricks fight specifically. Like Johnny Hendricks had no right to be in that cage, man. He just looked like he was in there for a paycheck. He was getting absolutely whooped on the entire time. Uriah Hall, we know Uriah Hall breaks under any type of pressure. Obviously, he's going to break under a guy like Paulo Costa. Oluwale Bomboshe has 5 minutes of cardio. Gareth McClellan, not UFC level. You know, that's really it. That was his first UFC fight. So his best win is Yoel Romero, who he ended up dropping. But like again, I like Marvin Vittori, not completely counting out Costa as he was my pre-fight lean or pre-tape lean, but after I ran the tape, it's hard not to go with Vittori. Bobby Lee, a thick boy too. Brown looked like a twig by comparison. Now wins. There you go. Albert deduction, yes. He is with the wife right now, so I do not have him. Isaiah Roser, fight IQ is not being an invasive technical fighter. Fight IQ is understanding your strengths and your opponent's weaknesses and playing to them. Again, I for me, it's with Costa, it has to be there's only a limited window that he wins this fight, a round and a half to 2 rounds max. After that, I think he's going to start giving up the front foot. He's going to be on his back foot. Vittori's going to be moving forward, and I wouldn't be surprised if you see Vittori even try to clinch up with him, try to take him down, and grind him out that way. Because I don't think that Costa will have the gas after that, after about 2 rounds there. Philippe Beneteau is saying, "Do we figure out if it was a tattoo on Philippe's face or was that bruising?" I know Paulie was talking about it on Twitter. It is actually a tattoo, and it says Brawler. So that's all you need to know about that. All right, let me jump into the totals parlay for you guys now. Um, let me pull it up here. Da, 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 da. Totals parlay coming right up. And it doesn't look like my wife got the memo that I needed a Kleenex, and I've somehow survived until now. So there you guys go. All right. Totals parlay. This one will be a tricky one, in my opinion. We're gonna go Davis Batgadiel over 2.5. We're gonna go Godinez Carolina over 2.5. We're gonna go Ameev Roberts over 2.5. We're going to go Landwehr Klein under 2.5. We're gonna go Gonzalez Miller under 2.5. We're gonna go Philippe Arlovsky over 2.5. And I think that might be it. I'm gonna pass on Nunez Carnelosi in total. Sanchez Silva, again, a little bit skeptical about it. I do think Sanchez wins by decision, but I'm not willing to pull a trigger there. Bueno Silva Fido has all the makings of going under 2.5, but I don't feel good about it. And then Dumont Lad, I have no strong feelings about. So let me just pull this up one more time on Coolbet. So Davis Batgadiel over 2.5. Carolina Godinez over 2.5, which surprise, surprise, Coolbet still doesn't have the total up for. Roberts Ameev over 2.5. Landwehr Klein under 2.5. Miller Gonzalez under 2.5. And then Philippe and Arlovsky over 2.5. So I put together that initial parlay on Intertops, um, because they usually have the widely available totals, whereas sometimes Coolbet is on and off with it. But you can pick the alternate total over there on Coolbet. Plus 1656 on Intertops with that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 leg over under parlay. But on Coolbet, once again, since Godinez and Carolina don't have an over under on that website, I'm just going with the 5 leg parlay, and I'm getting plus 1176. So we're gonna let's put $50 on that. $50 to win 587.82. If it was my full parlay on Intertops, though, $50 would return $878. So last time I'll go over it for you guys. Brandon Davis did not bat Gurriel over 2.5. Carolina Godinez over 2.5. Roberts Ameev over 2.5. Landwehr Klein under 2.5. Gonzalez Miller under 2.5. And Philippe Arlovsky over 2.5. Excuse me. There you guys go. Over under parlay. All right, let's see what the rest of the chat is saying here, and then we're gonna get the fuck. Oh yeah, sorry. The over unders for Bellator. Ooh, there's not many that I feel good about. Um, let's say under 4.5 rounds for Anglicus Nemkov. Over 4.5. Oh, what's the total here? I think it's 2.5 for Bader Anderson. I'm gonna go over 2.5 for Bader and Anderson. Over 2.5 for Henderson and Primus. Over 2.5 for Yagshi and Albrechtsen. Over 2.5 for Lee and Brown. Over 2.5 for Field and Inaba. I also want to say over 1.5 for Gibson Jr. and Pina. Those are the only ones that I feel good about. All right, let's see what the chat is saying, and then let's get the fuck out of here. Brian Anthony is saying chances Andrew Schultz joins the Believe You Me podcast. One can dream, yeah, right? Yeah, there's no way that's happening. Andrew Schultz is way too successful to be doing something like that. But yeah, I'm interested to see who Bisping ends up teaming up with. Small world lifters, live underdogs for Bellator. I got Primus, Yakshi Murdov, Anglicus, Polibchinekov. Butcher that. I believe in Primus. Primus could be a live dog. I do think Yakshi Murdov actually ends up losing. Live dogs, possibly Bader, but again, I didn't get to look into that the closest. Bobby Lee as well, plus 240. Yeah, that's really about it. I think it looks like a Bellator card, which is normally chalk hitting. Jared is saying when Costa isn't allowed to be the bully, he's totally a different fighter. It should be very interesting. Exactly. That's the first question that I had when I broke down that fight or was breaking down that fight was who's going to be the first one to accept that back foot. And initially it might be Vittori, but I don't think that Costa has a gas tank to go out there and continuously push the fight the way that he normally does. DXJC in the chat. Nicholas West, my final thoughts parlay of Ameev, Godinez, and Furo plus 164. Good luck, my brother. Furo is a lock. Again, I have too many question marks to go out there and make her my lock. DXJC, think Vladislav is live over Corrales after how bad he looked. I wish I could give you a better insight on that, but I can't. If I'm not mistaken, Cody actually has a Bellator preview out as well. I would more so lean on him because I'm sure he looked into it more than I was able to. Shout out to Circa Sportsbook. Always, if you guys ever hit up Vegas and don't go to Circa, are you even a gambler? Let's just put it that way. I know it's an old Vegas, but it's definitely worth going out to, especially with how good that their sports book is. Make sure you guys go check that out. Robot Chicken Wings. Did the other guy leave Bisbing's podcast? Yes. What's the guy's name? Gomez. Louis J. Gomez. Yeah, he put out a Twitter video or something the other day saying that he's not a part of the podcast anymore because their schedules don't line up. Let's see. Somebody just messaged me saying that Jones and Patrick is off. If you're still watching the Twitter, yes, I do believe. Uh, I do believe that fight is off. And remember, early start today. Fights start off at 4:30 p.m. EST. DHJC is saying, laugh my ass off. Their schedules don't line up. Code word for behind the scenes drama. Yeah. No, I won't always say that because um, that's kind of the reasoning that me and Cody stopped doing propping you up, right? There's obviously other reasons as well. But the majority of it being our schedules not lining up on a week to week basis, considering uh, all the hats that he's wearing now, matchmaker, bookie beat or dogger pass, doing his own channel. But what I really think happened with Gomez and Bisbing, I don't think it was as successful as they had wanted it to be, and they don't think the juice is worth the squeeze anymore. That's where I think it was. I never listened to that podcast, but I gotta believe it wasn't that successful. Just saying. Josh Nan saying I need a solid PRP. Well, I'm sure Cody will drop that for you guys very shortly. I will say this about the PRPs. I know they've been hitting over the last couple of weeks, but one thing you guys got to realize also is out of the last 4 UFC events, only 2 underdogs on each card have hit. Like a lot of the big favorites have been winning over the last several weeks. So it's just a matter of time before the dogs start barking once again. Ryan Sweet, Marquez saw Arlovsky's beard and went back to the drawing board. Arlovsky has a ridiculous beard. As a fellow beardsman myself, Arlovsky is the one that I look up to. Ryan Sweet broke him mentally. Maybe. Nandalal is saying and the other gas digital shows make so much more money than believe you me. I believe he's talking about the rest of the Luis Gomez. I'm not really into uh that group of comedy podcasts. Like I listen to Andrew Scholes, Bad Friends, Two Bears, One Cave. I do listen to Fighter and the Kid because I do enjoy Brian Callen. Uh, I enjoy King and this thing as well because I enjoy, Eric Griffin, Theo. They just recently had Bobby Lee's brothers on or brother on. I enjoy those, but I never really got into like the New York guys other than Scholes. DHJC saying it was a great podcast for a while, but I definitely fell off like 200 episodes ago. How long were they doing it for? Yeah, Luis Gomez, flex money in the chat. Appreciate you stopping by, my brother. Cody E. Colts saying, I'm happy about that. Lewis was pretty annoying and didn't take MMA seriously at all. Yeah, even in that video that he released, he's like, it's not my passion. And if it's not your passion, imagine being forced to talk about it every week. Flex money, Dizzo betting on Arlovsky fights are deadly. He fights to survive for 15 minutes, which is why the only action that I have on that fight is the over 2.5. That's really about it. Robot Chicken Wings. I used to listen to Bisbing and unsubscribe when GSP took his belt. Shout out the GOAT, GSP. Brian Anthony in the chat saying the dogs are due. Yeah, it could happen. Looks like their Walker Santos episode was number 355. Interesting. Wow. Leisure Gang's Funniest Podcast, hands down, Saplock. Appreciate you stopping by. Again, never really got into those guys. I'm not sure why. I'm just here for the butts and the boobs. Of course you are, Freddie. Fight to go to decision 1.73 on Arlovsky. I like that. Christian Rodriguez in the chat. Are you the Christian Rodriguez that fought on this last contender series? Huh? My favorite dogs are Brandon Davis, Roma Dumont, and Luana Carolina. I like the first one. I like Dumont. I bet Davis. Didn't bet Dumont, picking her to win. But I don't think highly of Luana Carolina at all, to be honest. How do you unsubscribe to Bisping? Are you intoxicated? And there you go. All right, we got about 5 minutes left. As you can tell, I'm still trying to wake up. Going to be a long day on my end as well. Jorge Sandoval, my brother, you think the over 2.5 in the Philippe fight is parlayable? I'd say so. At this point in time, it's a little bit chalky, but I do think it hits. I'd say it's parlayable. Flex money, all we're going to see is in the main event is just cheeks, and more cheeks for 25 minutes. You think so? Jamwin Gong saying a fight that you like the over 1.5. Do you mean like alternate totals over 1.5, or like the widely available total? Like I could give you Arlovsky Philippe over 1.5, but the widely available is 2.5. DHJC, what's making you think Bader over Anderson? I feel like he could stay competitive in the grappling realm. I think he has the power on the feet to potentially give Anderson issues. I know Anderson sets a bit of a pace and has takedowns, but again, he's dealing with a solid takedown artist himself. Has Bader really fallen off as much as people are making it seem? Like he just lost to Vadim Nemkov. That's really about it. Let me just pull up the track real quick, but I will say this. I know I faded him last time around because of the heavy plus money that we're getting on Machida. Yeah, his only loss for Vadim Nemkov. That's his only loss in Bellator. And he's beating literally everybody they give him. Phil Davis, Linton Vassell, Mohamed Lawal, Matt Mitrione, not a good fighter. Fedor, obviously, way past his prime. Czech Congo, no contest. Vadim Nemkov loses that fight. Leona Machida. Yeah, I don't get the uber confidence in Corey Anderson, but again, I didn't look into it the closest either. Okay, how many hours till prelim start? 4.5. 4.5 hours until prelim start. Flex money Dizzo. I think Corey will knock him out in the second, but a little on that fight. Corey Anderson by knockout is a very intriguing proposition, considering that's not usually how he wins his fights. But then again, he did go apeshit in his last fight against Yagshi Murdov. PG, I do feel Corey gets a dub. Bader's also in his hometown tonight. I don't know if Bellator has crowds or not. I do believe they're going to have crowds. Um, I do think they'll have a crowd for tonight. All right, 3 minutes and then I'm out of here, guys. Give me your last minute questions, and I will be sure to answer them as best as I can. And again, for those of you late joiners, if you guys haven't already, make sure you guys hit that like, hit that subscribe if you haven't already. 37 likes with 68 people in here. I'll take it. I'll take it. Um, and just one last time, the plays I won't be releasing to the public. I will only be dropping them to you guys and talk about perfect timing with my guy Cole, Kale DeBrule. I was just about to give you guys my plays again. Lock of the night play: Ramazan Ameev, Ludovic Klein -136 parlay. Dog of the night play +149 on Brandon Davis, unit and a half there. Those are my two bets for tonight. FRX base, can Dumont match Lad's speed? I don't know if that's sarcastic, but Lad is not that fast at all, to be honest. House of Guards, why are you not high on our boy Batgirl? Great striking. Don't get me wrong, but I think that this is a huge overcorrection in terms of the last two performances that he had against Guido Canetti and Kevin Natividad. Like he was a -130 favorite going into that fight with Guido Canetti, finishes him, then finishes Kevin Natividad, all first round quick finishes. But Brandon Davis never been knocked out. How is Bakrio going to look the further the fight goes? Davis has great tools to bring to the table: good striking, better jiu-jitsu, good enough wrestling, and I think this is the best fighter that Dinas fought in his UFC career to this point. So, yeah, I like Davis. Possibly could pull off a submission. I wish we were getting a better line on that, but yeah, I do like. I do like Davis here. Sorry. For some reason, I feel like Davis by submission is +400. +400, sorry. but him to actually win by submission is around plus 735. So I wouldn't mind taking a little bit of a shot on that. Bulldog or Bet365, which do you like more? I don't use either of them actively right now, but I know Bet365 gives you way more options in terms of props and such. So there you go. Paolo D'Alessandro saying, "What do you think of Brandon Davis' decision only on DraftKings to take out Dana Flash KO? Can't see Dana winning 50-minute fight. He could possibly win a 50-minute fight. Again, Brandon Davis never been knocked out. Um, what are the odds on that? If you can give me the odds on that, I can give you a better idea." Cole is saying, "Good looks. Good luck tonight, brother." Can Fitzsimmons, Dumont says she is poor and needs to win. She will. We'll see. Jim Miller round one sub plus 750. I love that line. I wish I had an access to a bookie that actually gives you the method and round prop together like that. Is what it is. All right. If Paulo is still in here, gives me those props within the next minute, I'll answer it. Otherwise, I'm going to get the fuck out of here. Again, more than likely won't be watching the card live. So I'll catch up later at some point and then get back to you guys. Hopefully the plays come through. Hopefully the bets come through. We'll see how that goes. Paul is saying plus 120. Personally, I'd want a little bit of a better line, to be honest. Because Danak can win a 50-minute fight here. If Davis is not successful in dragging this fight to the ground, he's going to have a very tough striking threat to deal with. Danny's saying any Bellator plays for yourself today? No Bellator plays, but I do have a couple legs locked up in some parlays. I'll quickly share those with you guys in terms of the spots that I did parlay. I parlayed Nemkov. I parlayed Albrechtsen, Sullivan Colley, Berkamov, Lance Gibson, and Jalen Bates. Chalk usually rules in Bellator, and I think it's going to rule tonight. All right. Appreciate you guys joining the live chat as always. We are right back at it next week for Vittori versus Costa. Hoping to get my solo podcast out by Tuesday at the latest. So make sure you guys go check that out. And then obviously a full week of content Thursday, propping you up with John Stargarian. Friday, Ultimate Wayne Show. I'm actually going to be joined by John's podcast peer, if you want to call him that, Luke from Sparring with Reality Betting. He's going to be joining me for the Ultimate Wayne Show on Friday. That might be a little bit earlier because it's your boy's birthday that day. So I'm going to try to get it done as early as possible so I can get shit faced and not worry about anything after that. And then Saturday, obviously, the fights and the fight day live chat. I believe it's an early card as well, 1 p.m. Eastern, prelim start time, if I'm not mistaken, next week. So it'll be another early fight day live chat. So if you guys want to check that out, there you guys go. All right, I'll take these last couple questions, then I'm out of here. Okay, saying Fabia Death touch the like button, you casuals. Exactly, that very much helps. Ryan Maston saying, I wish the commission let your buddy James Krause fight. What a badass he is for trying. Oh, that's my guy right there. Have a good one, mate. You too, brother. Crypto is saying, Lock, what's the moonshot parlay? Here, I'll give you a crazy one just right now, just off the top. Again, not thinking the hardest about it. Let's just fucking aim for the stars. Arlovsky Philippe over 2.5. Jim Miller inside the distance. Ludovic Klein inside the distance. Andrew Sanchez by decision. Ameev by decision. There you go. That should give you a nice little payout there, hopefully, if that hits. All right. Good luck on your bets tonight, guys. And I'll see you guys next week for Costa and Vittori. Let's fucking go.